Breaking, a UPS plane just crashed outside of the airport in Louisville. Is this the new norm? Let's hope not. Is there something behind it that could be linked to potentially GPS spoofing? We don't know yet. We don't have all the details. However, it's very interesting timing. So buckle up, Buttercups. Let's go. First of all, may the force be with all of those that are involved in this plane crash. According to the latest information, there's 3 people that were on that plane. We're going to read what we know. And also an oil refinery in New Mexico, a big one, just a few days ago, blew up. Yeah, this is really intense. Interesting timing once again. And 3i Atlas changes color for the 3rd time. So why does 3i Atlas continue to change color? And is there something that can explain the changing of these colors and the interesting trajectory and the speed and the size and the anomalous characteristics that have been captured of 3i Atlas? We might have some explanations. And I recently sent out an invite to a gentleman that is very well versed in the electric universe theory, which the only other theory that I think would explain 3i Atlas, which I'm saying, okay, yeah, I can see that, is the electric universe cosmology. Do I want it to be an alien spacecraft? Absolutely. But I don't know. I'm just going where the data takes me, and you should too. But let's talk about this. Let's get into the latest information that I have, and I hope you're doing fantastic. We're just going to jump right in. Let me do a screen share. Lots of news to share with you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here with me. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. All right. So interstellar visitor 3i Atlas may have just changed color for the 3rd time. Recent observations of the interstellar object 3i Atlas show that it has developed a faint bluish hue, hinting at a potential color change. This is the 3rd time experts have seen the comet's coloring shift since it was discovered. First, it was red, then green, and then blue as it crosses around and shoots around the sun. Now, the electric universe theory, this is an incredible theory, and we're going to talk about this in a minute in more detail, positions that comets are electrically charged bodies interacting with the sun's plasma, leading to discharges that create their tails and activity. Contrary to mainstream views that comets are icy bodies, according to this theory, the jets and glows of comets are caused by electrical phenomena, not sublimation. While this is an alternative model, mainstream astrophysics explain comet behavior through the sublimation of ice and dust as the comet approaches the sun. So watch this video, 19 minutes and 19 seconds. I interviewed this gentleman, David Drew. It was kind of hard to find his contact information, but I found it. This is a great video describing the anomalous behaviors and how it actually makes sense if you study electric universe cosmology. And although I don't understand it completely yet, I understand a lot of it, and it makes a lot of sense. So I sent him an invite, David Drew. Hopefully we're going to get him on the show. David Drew is a proponent of the EU model, an alternative cosmology that clashes with the mainstream standard model, uses observation of comets like 3i Atlas and Swan to support his theories. He argues that these comets exhibit electric comet behaviors that defy the standard model, and he analyzes real-time observations to explain these phenomena with the EU model framework. We're going to get into that in a minute. We're also going to look at how if you take the electricity's relationship with color, depending on the context, such as glowing metal as an example, light bulbs, wire insulation, using different color scales for different purposes, glowing metal gets hotter and it starts from dull red and it ends up at blue. Well, as this object is traveling around the sun, it lights up bluer than the sun. Really cool. And Deep Impact, there was a space probe launched titled Deep Impact back in 2005, where they observed a specific comet, and this comet showed plasma behavior and what you could compare to the electric universe model versus sublimation alone. We're going to get into that, but let's talk about this. This is breaking news. Breaking news. UPS plane crashes at Louisville Airport, caused an explosion and massive fire. So this is what we know so far. The flight number is 2976. It crashed shortly after takeoff from Louisville, Kentucky. The aircraft was a McDonnell Douglas MD-11-4 or 11F with 3 crew members on board. Injuries have been reported, though UPS has not confirmed casualties. Let's hope there's no casualties. Now, this was near the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport, near Fern Valley Road and Grade Lane. It happened approximately 5:15 p.m. local time. That's Eastern time. The plane was bound for Daniel K. Inouye International Airport in Honolulu, Hawaii. The aircraft is a McDonnell Douglas MD-11F. Now, let me show you what an MD-11F is. This is the largest tri-jet wide-body airliner manufactured, and it's by McDonnell Douglas and later by Boeing, the largest tri-jet airliner in the world. UPS official statement on the aircraft accident. Let's take a look at this. See what UPS has to say. Approximately 5:20 Eastern time tonight, UPS flight 2976 from Louisville, Kentucky to Honolulu. An MD-11 with 3 crew members on board was involved in an accident in Louisville. At this time, we have not confirmed any injuries or casualties. UPS will release more facts as they become available, but the National Transportation Safety Board is in charge of the investigation and will be the primary source of information about the official investigation. Wow. This just happened a few days ago. This was like hardly made any news whatsoever. I think Shondell sent me info on this. Thank you, Shondell. Shondell lives in New Mexico. This is an explosion at a refinery in New Mexico, injuring 3 people. This was Halloween. The incident occurred approximately 1:30 local time at the Navajo Refinery operated by HF Sinclair in the city of Artesia. The Artesia Police Department said it had responded to an explosion at the HF Sinclair Refinery, along with the Artesia Fire Department. Upon arrival at the scene, police said a thick column of black smoke was being emitted from the plant and drifting over parts of the city. Officials urged local citizens to stay clear of the refinery area, shelter indoors if they were in the path of the smoke, and to keep windows and doors closed. The fire department confirmed several hours later that a blaze at the plant had been extinguished and the area has been declared safe. Now, this refinery is massive. It operates in conjunction with a refining facility in Lovington, New Mexico, processes sweet and sour Permian crude oil. The refinery has a crude oil capacity of 100,000 barrels per day, serving markets in the southwestern United States, including New Mexico, Arizona, West Texas. And in 2022, construction was completed on a pre-treatment unit and renewable diesel unit at the Artesia facility. Now, I just find this could be user error. This could be from the equipment. There could be a number of reasons. This is the location. So you can see southeast New Mexico here, kind of close to Carlsbad. Did you know that outside of Carlsbad, there is nuclear storage where they have several years ago, there were news reports that some of these facilities underground were caving in, and the nuclear materials that were being stored there were being stored in cat litter. Some of it. I was like, wow. Anyway, so I did a search, and I was like, oil refineries. Ukraine and Russia right now. The battle of the drones, the battle of the oil refineries. So Ukrainian drones have hit at least 16 Russian oil refineries since August of 2025, impacting a significant portion of Russia's total refining capacity. Other sources report over 20 refineries have been hit by drone attacks in 2025. Some estimates suggest at least 21 major refineries have been targeted since January. Now, there's 38 refineries known about in Russia. At least 16 have been hit, affecting nearly 38% of Russia's total refining capacity, having significantly disrupted fuel supplies. And October of this year, Ukraine reported successful attacks on 21 major refineries in 2025, exceeding the total number of attacks in 2024. Officials in Ukraine stated that over 30 Russian oil refineries and terminals have been hit by attacks. up to June 2024. So I'm just like, interesting. Very, very interesting. But let's go back to David Drew and the EU model. Very interesting. In this electric universe cosmology, he argues that comets exhibit electrical behavior that defies the standard model. Now, he analyzes with real-time observations to explain these phenomena. And the theory proposed, and this could explain, in my opinion, this could absolutely explain how 3i Atlas has changed color for the third time. And this just came out a few hours ago, livescience.com. Interstellar visitor, 3i Atlas may have just changed color for the third time. It starts out red, then it gets green, then it gets blue as it's traveling around the sun, getting closer to the sun. And this video right here, David Drew, 3i Atlas is an electric comet in real time from Thunderbolt's project. You should subscribe, hit the bell. He does a pretty good job explaining this. I have invited him on the show to explain it to all of us so I can ask him questions and we can do a Q&A. I hope he gets back to us. I really, really do. We'll find out. But let me explain to you some of the stuff that he describes in his video there with the Thunderbolts project. He uses specific behaviors of 3i Atlas and SWAN, particularly their plasma tails and interactions with the solar system's electrical environment, as evidence for the EU model. Now, the EU model of cosmology is an alternative cosmology model being proposed by Drew, that a universe where electromagnetic forces are the primary drivers of celestial phenomena, contradicting the gravity-centric standard model. The currently accepted model, obviously, is galactic expansion, the formation of stars, galaxies, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. But Drew's work positions him as a dissenter from the scientific consensus, as his interpretations of comet behavior is not supported by the standard model. That's great. I'm glad, because the standard model has a lot of holes. Yeah, like 135,000 mile an hour snowball traveling through space, defying all odds on a trajectory. Yeah, but when we look at the EU cosmology, I mean, it's pretty good. So let me share with you. I took some notes, and even though it's not as good as watching the whole video, these are some of the things that he said. So the sun-facing plume. Electrically charged objects interacting with, so this is his definition of a comet. The electric comet conceptual overview. Electrically charged objects interacting with heliospheric plasma suns, electric field, and surrounding currents. Electric fields between the comet and the sun create glowing discharges, focused jets, and plasma sheets that shape both the coma and the tail. Example, NASA's deep space, this right here. So the Deep Impact NASA space mission to Comet Tempel 1 in 2005, they launched the spaceship, landed on the comet. They got video of it. They got photos and imaging data, etc. It shows the surfaces of this comet are more likely from plasma discharges than from sublimation alone. The coma's shape reflects electromagnetic forces, not just gas dynamics, allowing sunward plumes and anti-solar tails to coexist. Volatile releases can be electrically stimulated, rather than solely thermally driven, explaining unusual gas compositions and unexpected timing. With the EU model, the electric universe model, these are not anomalies, but consequences of electrical interactions with the surrounding plasma, the sunward glow, and the images that we saw from the sunward glow. Let's see if we can look at that. Let's go check that out. Come on, 3i Atlas. Show us the beef. Where's the beef? You said beef, Beavis. All right, let's see this image he's talking about here. Right here, boom. Okay, so is that, yeah, good. Electrical fields between the comet and the sun create glowing discharges, focused jets, and plasma sheets that shape both the coma and the tail. Within the EU model, this is exactly what we should expect. An electrically charged nucleus immersed in the heliospheric plasma develops asymmetric discharges concentrated on the sunlit side. Charged particles then accelerate along local electric fields, guided by the comet's fluctuating charge and its current pathways into the surrounding plasma. The outcome, a brilliant sunward-facing plume alongside the traditional anti-solar tail. So that's just a little bit of the information that I got, and I took notes on from that 19-minute video. But we still don't see exactly what this object looks like. We just see the coma. We're just getting the data that this thing is some nickel alloy, massive in size, showing very peculiar behavior that we have not been able to explain based upon traditional comets and asteroids within our solar system. But depending on how old this thing is and where it comes from, I mean, it could be the remains of a planet that exploded, or the remains of some type of magnetar, or some type, well, probably not a magnetar, because those things, the gravitational fields of the magnetar is like insane. But it's very fascinating regardless. Spaceship, maybe. Electrically charged comet of nickel alloy, billions of years old, maybe. Swamp gas from Uranus. I mean, did you know that Uranus is a planet? Drum roll, please. I read a comment a couple of days ago where somebody said, you know, I wish I wouldn't have sent this video out and shared this video because that guy's an idiot. I was like, man, thanks, buddy. Too late, though. You already sent the video out. Come on, man. You got to have a little bit of fun. Equally fascinating. Elon Musk did make a very interesting point on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast recently when he was talking about 3i Atlas, about how if this was to hit Earth, it could destroy an entire continent. Well, yeah, you don't say. It's 33 billion tons of nickel alloy traveling at 130,000 miles an hour. I think it would have a pretty serious impact. So that's the news for today. And we'll bring you more tomorrow. This was taken earlier this month in Chile. And then the most recent one came out a couple of days ago from the Lowell Observatory. I'll show you this before we finish up this podcast. Lowell Observatory, 3i Atlas. Well, now you can take photos of 3i Atlas as well if you have a telescope and you know where to point it. Yeah, that's what she said. Okay, I'm sorry. Zorg made me say it. Zorg! How could you? This is from the Lowell Observatory, Happy Jack, Arizona. Look at that dot, will you? Come on, NASA, show us the high-rise images. Come on, China, show us the images you got. We want to see more than a speck on a screen. Nanu. Hell yeah. Thank you for saying hello on Rumble also. If you would, folks, do me a huge favor and jump on over to Rumble and subscribe to us on Rumble. Make sure you've got the bell rung here on YouTube. Really appreciate you watching us here on YouTube. And if you haven't already, get your Boomer Boost and Gladiator barley because you're going to love this stuff. It's amazing. I love it. They should call it Gen X Boost. That's what I'm saying. Because Gen X. Anyway, so be the change you want to see.